Watcher everyone, and welcome to another instalment of the Broc Foot Traveller, so called because of my mobility issues. I never go anywhere without my trusty walking stick, which has served me well in over a decade's worth of solo travelling. Today's video is part one of a two-part series, Visit to Marrakesh. This episode will cover my experience regarding travel and culture, with part two focusing on the Jekyll and Hyde hotel experience I had. A bit of background. This was my first trip abroad, or anywhere really, since a major op, and was initially planned as a 3-night escape to a resort somewhere warm in which I could use up the mini mountain of Avios I had accrued before they had expired. At the time of booking, excursions didn't even enter onto my radar, as I was still walking with 2 sticks. However, a couple of weeks before my trip, I was feeling a bit stronger than I was when I booked the trip, so I added via Get Your Guide a 3-hour excursion to an evening trip in the desert, which was to witness a magnificent sunset, along with an authentic Moroccan dinner and entertainment. More of that later. To date, this was one of my most challenging trips I ever made, as my beloved car, which has served me so faithfully for 20 plus years, went to the great garage in the sky. So I used National Express to get to the airport. That journey and the not so positive Gatwick South experience is covered in my updated airports tips video, which can be found pinned in the description below. As of time of recording, that's April 2026, travelling to Morocco has a few watch-outs. The main ones being that, as with other North African countries, digital boarding passes are not issued. You have to queue up and check in on the day you fly out, so remember to allocate extra time for that. Another main issue is that Morocco has a closed currency called the Moroccan dirham, which basically means that you cannot really get the currency before you set foot in the country, and there's a strict rule on currency being taken out of the country. The exchange rate is around about 12 dirham to the pound. Another watch out is to be on your toes, as although you can get a lot for your pound, some of the locals will try and exploit a traveller's ignorance regarding the currency conversion. Example being, in the hotel shop, they tried to charge me 600 dirham, which is around about 50 quid, for a can of antiperspirant, a bottle of non-alcoholic drink, a packet of crisps, a packet of Mentos, a small fridge magnet, and a travel size, i.e. small, tube of sun cream. And there was I wondering why the shop was so empty when I walked in. Also, the shuttle bus operator affiliated to BA tried to flog me a 2-hour taxi tour for around about 800 dirham as part of her side hustle. I will say from the get-go that Morocco, like Tunisia, doesn't really have a strong infrastructure for mobility impaired travellers. Example being, even though I had special assistance plastered all over my airline ticket, upon arrival we were expected to use the stairs from the aeroplane to the tarmac, which not only annoyed me but everyone else behind me, as it took me forever to get down those stairs. As briefly mentioned before, I had planned an evening excursion. However, on the day of the trip, my mobility was quite poor. So I decided to cancel the trip, instead hiring a taxi for a couple of hours via the hotel, which took me on a tour around the whole of Marrakesh, and that was the best decision by far that I made in a while, as he The taxi driver was a local lad. So not only did I get to see all of the main tourism sites of both Old and New Marrakesh from the comfort of a taxi seat, he knew all the back roads in the old town, some of which could barely fit a car through, all of which were well off the tourist beaten track, and allowed me to see the raw local side of Marrakesh, the souks that the locals shopped in, and the stunning parks and amenities that were local gems. He also took me out of the city centre to where the camels were in pasture, and I was able to get super close to film them without paying a penny. Well, whilst we were filming the herd, the shepherd popped up out of nowhere, but the taxi driver spoke to him and the shepherd went away. The 2-hour tour with the taxi driver cost about £35, but in my opinion it was priceless because of all of the local knowledge and the sights that we saw. He even took me around the perimeter wall of one of the Sultan of Oman's palaces, which he randomly has in Marrakesh. So it's fun facts time. Fun facts about Morocco. Morocco is officially known as the Kingdom of Morocco. As a region, it's been inhabited since the Paleolithic times, that's around about 300,000 years. The first dynasty was established by Idris in 788. The most powerful dynasties to date were back in the 11th and 12th century under Almoravidia and the Almohad dynasties, when bits of southern Europe, mainly the Iberian Peninsula, that's southern Spain and Portugal to you and me, along with the parts of the Maghreb, that's Algeria, Libya, Mauritania, Tunisia, and the disputed territory of Western Sahara. The current Alavari dynasty has been in power since 1631. The Moroccan culture is a melting pot of Berber, Arab, European and wider African nations. The capital is currently Rabat, with its largest city being Casablanca. Now, back in the day, it was the only North African country to escape the Ottoman Empire's dominance. Some fun facts about Marrakesh. The area was inhabited by Berber farmers in Neolithic times. The city was founded by Abu Bakr ibn Imar in 1070. He was also the chieftain and second cousin to the Almoravidi King Yusuf ibn Tashfin. Is currently the fourth largest city in Morocco. It was the imperial capital during the Almohad dynasty from 1147 to 1269, when the capital was relocated to Fez. From medieval times to the beginning of the 20th century, the entire country of Morocco was also known as the Kingdom of Marrakesh. To this day, some regions in the world, mainly Persia, still refer to Morocco as Marrakesh. Marrakesh is located at the foot of the Atlas Mountains, which are absolutely beautiful, and is sometimes referred to as the Red City due to the number of buildings constructed of red sandstone. Now, Marrakesh is comprised of the fortified Old City, containing the Medina Quarter and the famous Jema el Fana Square, and the Kibbutia Mosque, a World Heritage Site, and New Marrakesh, which is also very impressive with its beautiful hotels, gardens, golf courses and casinos. Thank you once again for joining me on my travels. I'd be most grateful if you could please like and subscribe, and as always, keep stepping.